All right, John Huber, he's suing Kyle Rittenhouse and pretty much everybody. But what kind of person is he? Now we're going to find out. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
In The Broken Boys of Kenosha, Good Kid Productions talk about Anthony Huber and his relationship to his father, John Huber. And it's not nice. And by the way, if you're interested in this documentary, I have a couple of reaction videos on my channel, and I'll post links to the description below. But in the meantime, let's hear their take on the relationship between John and Anthony.
Anthony Huber. Anthony chases Kyle down and hits him with his skateboard, and Kyle shoots a single bullet clean through his chest cavity. Anthony was unwanted. He's born in Kenosha, and his dad tried to give him away.
Whoa, his dad tried to give him away. By the way, Hannah Giddings made the same claim. Of course, they could have gotten that information from Hannah's Facebook page. We don't know.
As an infant. His dad, John, leaves Kenosha when Anthony's a baby and starts a new family in another state.
That state is Arizona, by the way, pretty far from Kenosha.
Fatherlessness renders Anthony kind of existentially destabilized in all the predictable ways. He racks up a 20-page rap sheet. He spends large portions of his youth in this jail on the outskirts of the city. He joins the 85% of incarcerated males that don't have dads.
85% who don't have dads, they're laying the blame on Anthony Huber's criminal background squarely at the feet of John Huber for not being there to help raise his kid. Keep in mind, there are divorces. We all know that. Sometimes it's just not feasible for the father to be hanging around to help take care of the kid. But keep in mind, he moved a long ways away. And he's now suing because he lost his beloved son. If he hadn't filed a lawsuit, I don't think anybody would really care that much. They would say, yeah, the guy had a baby and he moved to another state and, well, he left the baby in the care of his mother, whatever. Happens all the time, thousands of times, probably every day. But it's one thing to do that, and it's quite another to come back, sue for millions, and claim that your son is beloved. That's the real issue. It looks to me like this is a big, massive hypocrisy move on the part of John Huber.
Anthony lives in this house in Kenosha, and he finds psychic relief and a makeshift family in the local skateboarding community.
I skated with them basically since I first moved here, which was back when I was in like 5th, 6th grade.
Why do you think he was there that night?
Hey guys, Good Kid Productions, if the guy doesn't have much to say, you might want to just edit that part out.
Would you say he was like a particularly political person?
No. Most of his life was on the skateboard.
I found out that John Huber, Anthony's dad, has launched a lawsuit against the city of Kenosha.
Yeah.
He's trying to collect a couple $1 million. And in that suit, he dares to describe Anthony as a beloved son.
Aw, beloved son. Yeah, sure.
We lost our son, and there's no justice right now for our family, and there's no closure.
This dude who abandoned Anthony as an infant is now trying to profit off of his dead son's corpse.
course, we need to include John Huber's court hearing appearance, where he flips off the judge and basically makes a total ass out of himself. Let's watch.
Would you identify yourself again, sir?
Hello, my name is John Huber, and I am Anthony Huber's father.
Okay, and would you do me the favor if it's okay if there's nobody else there? It's going to be a lot easier for the court reporter if you remove the mask.
Oh, get ready for this one. The judge is asking him to remove his mask.
I
don't want to jeopardize anybody.
If he removes his.
He says, oh no, I'm only going to remove it if Kyle removes his. Like, what the hell is this? Grade school?
Yeah, I'm not going to, sir. Sir, I'm talking about the reporter. If I ask Mr.
All right, here I am.
to speak, go ahead.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is Mr. Huber.
And the whole deal is that the court recorder has an easier time, recording if she can see your lips move. But he chooses this point to stage a little juvenile squabble between him and Kyle. I mean, come on.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, from the beginning, from the moment he became a killer, he thought he was above the law. And he has no remorse for what he's done. And he is enjoying this media circus and the support from these hate groups and militia members that have posted his bond. Okay? It's not like his mom and dad put up the family house to get him out. He has nothing to lose if he runs.
All right, so he's entitled to his opinion on this. I think he's misinformed, but I'll cut him some slack here.
He has nothing to lose. Matter of fact, he's probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Probably not.
If there's justice in that town of Kenosha. He should be remanded to custody. I don't know about what the DA was supposed to file, but this kid, we don't know where he is. You don't know where he lives. Nobody in that court knows where he lives. And if it's supposed to be a secret, then if he's got all this backing, what is he afraid of?
People like you. Can you imagine the idiocy of not only John Huber here, but his lawyers? You're trying to get Kyle Rittenhouse's bail increased or thrown in jail, and Kyle's lawyer saying, well, look, he's under a constant threat. And what do? You put this moron in there, and he's basically what? Telling the judge exactly why it was perfectly reasonable for Kyle not to disclose his address. I mean, I cannot understand the lawyers here. Talk to your client first. Make sure he understands what they're trying to achieve. But then again, trying to get anything through John Huber's thick skull probably was pretty hard.
Whatever the statutes are, they must be wrong, because this guy can just go and do whatever he wants after he killed our son. Our son didn't get to spend Thanksgiving with us.
Wait, so in other words, Anthony Huber was going to spend Thanksgiving with you, huh? Is that your claim? How often have you actually spent Thanksgiving with Anthony Huber? Guess what? None. There is not a shred of evidence that he ever spent a Thanksgiving with his son. And in fact, after his son was born, what do we know? He took off to Arizona and started a whole new family. He was never in Anthony's life. And yet here he is claiming that, well, because of Kyle Rittenhouse, I can have Thanksgiving with my son this year. Give me a break. You're a liar, asshole.
But Rittenhouse did. He got to spend all kinds of time at the bar, live it up, making videos with his white supremacist friends, singing videos with a shirt that says free as F. You're not going to be free as F.
He is actually. If there's one thing that Kyle Rittenhouse is sending out as far as message-wise, is that he is free.
Justice is going to be served to you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mr. Huber.
Yeah, thanks. All right, let's fast forward. We're going to see what kind of person John Huber is really like.
So I'm going to
Watch him carefully.
deny the motions.
There he is, flipping off the judge.
Hey, I'm the most local person in here.
What a jerk. And I know a lot of people said, well, he's a grieving father. There's no excuse for this kind of behavior. Sorry. One of the things that drove me crazy about doing this story was I needed to find out just exactly how far did John Huber live from his son Anthony. I mean, how many cozy Thanksgivings did they have together? After all, John Huber was complaining that he wasn't going to be able to spend his Thanksgiving with his son. Well, guess what? John Huber lives in Ash Fork, Arizona. He doesn't live anywhere near his son. And I think Hannah's right. I think he may have met his son only a couple of times in his entire life. John Huber's story about how he was deprived of Thanksgiving with his son, I don't think that's going to hold up very well. And of course, John Huber didn't write this. I don't even know if he's literate, but his lawyers did. And I'm telling you, you read this and you realize that, wow, the standards for becoming a lawyer have really plummeted. It's horribly written. I mean, this is right out of high school. It's that bad. Well, whatever. Let's go ahead and read on. And we start off with the misspelling of the state in the title. That's right. They misspelled the name of the state in the title. Oh, by the way, I've gone through this lawsuit line by line in one of my other videos. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to read it. It's a lot longer, of course. This reading is only going to be pertaining to Anthony Huber. And as they mentioned, they're describing Anthony Huber as a beloved son. Okay, you hold on to that thought. I like this part. KPD officer Rustin Shesky shot Jacob Blake in the back 7 times without justification. Keep in mind, they filed this lawsuit well after the Wisconsin Department of Justice came back and said, no, this looks justified. We'll just ignore that. I mean, those little minor inconveniences, right?
You were the only one to make an idiotic statement like that. Why, Ralph? Why?
Because I was the only one brave enough to make that idiotic statement. That's why.
By his appearance, Kyle Rittenhouse was obviously a minor. Never mind the fact that he was only 4 months away from being 18, but he was obviously a minor. Good grief. And they're talking about Kyle's rifle. The rifle was visible at all times across his body or in his hands. Yeah, that's because the law requires it. It's called open carry. If he had concealed it, he would have been in a lot of trouble. Rittenhouse was in clear violation of the law, which prohibits a minor from possessing or displaying such a gun. Apparently, these lawyers can't read statutes any better than the average yokel. Numerous KPD and KCSD officers saw Rittenhouse before and after the shootings that night. Despite being in clear violation of Wisconsin law, Rittenhouse was not asked for identification, was not questioned, was never detained, was not disarmed, as he couldn't be. Police had no probable cause to do anything. Instead, defendants allowed Rittenhouse to patrol the streets of downtown Kenosha with his deadly assault rifle. Like, what other kinds of assault rifles are there other than deadly? They invited him in, deputized him, conspired with him, and ratified his actions. I mean, at this point, you just have to throw this thing out. Give me a break. Not even close to being the reality. At around 11 p.m., without provocation, Rittenhouse pointed his gun at an unarmed demonstrator heading to his car to go home. This is based on the Milwaukee Sentinel-Journal article on a claimed witness who was obviously lying. They didn't even bring that dude into the trial. I mean, his testimony could have been used by Binger to prove that Kyle was up to no good that night. Binger didn't even bother with it because the man obviously lied. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. Now, when I read this, notice what is missing. Let's start. Rittenhouse ran from the scene of the Rosenbaum shooting with his assault rifle in his hands, holding it in a ready position. How else is he supposed to hold it? People were yelling that Rittenhouse had just shot someone. Rittenhouse stumbled and fell to the ground, and several citizens approached him in an attempt to disarm him. Anthony Huber was one of those individuals. Anthony approached Rittenhouse to disarm him, stop the shooting, and save the lives of others. Anthony Huber was a hero. This statement's in the statement of facts. Oh, good grief. This is right out of middle school. As Anthony was reaching for Rittenhouse's rifle to pull it away, Rittenhouse shot him in the chest. Okay, it's missing. The fact that Anthony Huber tried to kill Kyle Rittenhouse with his skateboard twice. And it's clear Anthony Huber struck Kyle as Kyle was running to the police. That's right, everybody. Kyle was running to the cops. You could see them in the distance. Everybody knew where the cops were. And he even told Gage Grosskreutz as he was running that he was running to the police. Anthony Huber tried to prevent Kyle from getting to the police. Anthony Huber knew damn well that if he just let Kyle continue to run, that he would fall into police custody. Anthony tried to stop him. But there's no mention here anywhere that Anthony Huber took a swipe at Kyle with his skateboard and hit him in the back of the neck. It's omitted. This is absurd. And Kyle, in a recent interview, stated that Anthony Huber hit him twice with the skateboard in the neck. This, in my opinion, is lying by omission. The people that wrote this, the video, they know fully well that Anthony Huber tried to kill Kyle Rittenhouse by running from behind him and hitting him with a skateboard, but they intentionally did not include that in the actual briefing. And guess what? John Huber, even though the lawyers wrote it, it's your lawsuit. You're responsible. You left out a material fact on purpose, and that's going to come to light. And of course, who could forget this little exchange? They gave John Huber a chance to make a fool of himself, and he didn't miss the opportunity. Nope.
You have to unmute yourself then, sir. Mr. Huber, you're on mute. Can you unmute your device?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, Your Honor. I would like to say that, this Kyle guy is a flight risk. He's facing long time in prison. In this defense of self-defense, that is impossible. That is impossible.
Oh, wait till you hear the reason why it's impossible.
I don't know what part of the video you watched, but he already killed a guy, shot him in the head, and then tried to run. And my son was a hero. He tried to stop him, and so did everybody else. He was an active shooter, and he tried to flee, and my son lost his life protecting other people. He was a hero. And anyone who says otherwise is dead wrong, including the president, for to comment on that. How dare he? He needs to just stay on Twitter.
So he's trying to engage in an argument with the president of the United States through a court hearing. Oh my God. Focus. Stay focused.
He already admitted to killing 2 people in Antioch.
Yeah, in self-defense. And in fact, to claim self-defense, you have to admit that.
He told the police, I killed 2 white guys. Okay? So he's already admitted it. And, people buying him an assault weapon, they're responsible also. Who gives a kid an assault weapon? Says, oh, go to Wisconsin. That's...
Dude, this is about Kyle's bail. I mean, the guy's an idiot.
This is what we're up against here. It's not about self-defense anywhere. And if you can double his cash bond, that's what I'm for. I'm for doubling his bond. It should be $4 or $10 million, because there's people out there raising money right now, making it their own fight, that it's about gun rights, and it's not about gun rights. My son was killed. Another man was killed. They didn't deserve to be killed. And we don't have that society where we just let people go and kill people and say, oh, you guys, we'll push them down there and you guys kill them down there. Because that's what the police did here.
So now he's going to go after the police in Kyle's bail hearing.
And the police weren't doing their job, or else they wouldn't have asked for these people to come around.
You want to see Loco?
He was 2 businesses away when he chased that guy down and shot him in the head. That's far. He chased him down to kill him. And that guy was unarmed.
I'm crazy. I'm the Loco one.
And my son was unarmed. He hit him in the shoulder with a skateboard. He was a hero. Anyways, that's all I have.
Yeah, that was enough. So let me get this straight. Kyle was chasing Joseph Rosenbaum to shoot him. And the weird thing about it is that, does he really believe this? I mean, if he does, then he didn't see any of the footage. But you're supposed to be a grieving father, deeply invested in your son, and he didn't even bother to find out what actually happened. And of course, if he knows better, then he's just a liar. Anyway, I thought you would enjoy that. Next up is Hannah Giddings, Anthony Huber's girlfriend. And she was with him that night. They were together, and they heard a gunshot. The next thing they know, there's some kid being chased. Anthony Huber did not see the shooting of Joseph Rosenbaum. He doesn't really know what happened. That's okay. He's going to ride off into the night on his skateboard and go right after Kyle, instead of staying there to protect his girlfriend, which should have been his top priority. But that's okay. Now, most of us would have said, ooh, wait, AR-15 rifle? All I have is skateboard? Oh, hells no. I'm not going after him. But not Anthony. Kinda stupid. Again, I've said it many times. These guys have come to hate the AR-15 so much that they forget that it's actually a dangerous weapon. So off Anthony Huber goes, leaving his girlfriend behind, chases down Kyle and gets shot for his troubles. Now, Hannah Giddings apparently doesn't have a whole lot of nice things to say about Anthony Huber's parents. Of course, we're only concerned here about John Huber's. But let's go ahead and read. This is Hannah Giddings on Facebook. She is tearing John Huber a new asshole. It begins. Daily reminder that we live in a world where a 26-year-old young man is murdered while trying to disarm an active shooter, and his evil, narcissistic, greedy, selfish excuse of a mother alongside his deadbeat only met his son a couple of times in 26 years of that, left for a carton of ciggies and ended up in Arizona where he started a brand new redo family. Oops, you fucked that one up too, John. Are the only ones who are legally entitled to taking custody of his deceased body, planning him whatever the cheapest bullshit funeral they could find so they could pocket the rest of the money. Oh, I love it. And requesting info for social media Drive accounts filled with photos, messages, and memories of his real friends and family, the ones who cared about and loved him, the ones who are actually distraught and every single day by his loss. How can someone mourn the absence of a relative when they already weren't present in his life? It was alive. He's making some big claims here. One, that John Huber only met his son a couple of times during his lifespan. Well, that's her claim. It'll be interesting to see if she can back that up, or if other people can. But if John Huber has only met him a couple of times during his life, he has no standing in a lawsuit. It continues. Karen Bloom, where are you at? Crazy how you all never try to defend yourselves, because you know if you just keep your noses down, you just might make off with a cool $14 million off of the son you tried to give away to several different people as an infant, your middle child, and the only one you gave a different last name than the other two. That's interesting. The one who you landed in prison, thereby marking him a felon for life and making his life even harder. Now, keep in mind, these are aimed at Karen Bloom. That's Anthony Huber's mother. The one who constantly verbally, emotionally, and physically abused, then turned around and tried to buy his love back with all your con artist money. Ripping off the government by medicating your young child with hard pharmaceuticals. So she's blaming the mother for Anthony Huber's drug abuse. Still profiting off the most kind-hearted soul even in his death. Don't think I won't expose everything that I know, that he's told me, that other members of your family who witness your abhorrent behaviors your whole life, that there is concrete proof of. To not even give him a funeral for his actual family, not even your aunt, who Anthony was closer to than anyone besides your mother, Anthony's grandma, Pat, hiding in the darkness like you rats. You're not even giving his only real mother figure any of his ashes. You must have huge, gigantic balls, or just no shred of a conscience left. Should I go on about the NDA your lawyers tried to have me sign, saying that I wouldn't expose these truths? Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Damn, bet you wish you'd have taken the trade for giving his real loved ones his ashes now. LOL. Of course I didn't sign. Your hideous truths and heinous acts upon your own son, and I'm sure your other son and brainwashed daughter too, will all come to light. All of you will eventually be exposed for the kind of people you are. I will never let anyone think that you cared for Anthony in his life, or even about his death, besides the $14 million, of course. Karen, I hope you come around, because I am a fighter, and I fight for justice, for my hero, Anthony Huber, not for a disgusting amount of money all of your greedy, obese, child-abusing ass to spend on more clutter and cat shit. That's how you like to decorate your house, right? And your pathetic baby daddy skeletons in his closet speak for himself. Uh-oh. Ha ha ha. I love it. So, in the end, I think that John Huber is a big scumbag. He's a liar and a rotten father. He abandoned his kid shortly after the kid was born, never was a part of his life at all. He moved to Arizona, thousands of miles away. There's no evidence whatsoever that he spent any Thanksgivings with Anthony, and I highly doubt that ever happened. But now that Anthony has died, he's looking to score some millions from various local agencies and Kyle Rittenhouse. So, do we have sympathy for him? I don't. I don't have any sympathy for John Huber at all. I don't think he was heartbroken. I think he sees an opportunity to make some money. And he can get as mad as hell as he wants, but in my opinion, if he really wanted to be a part of Anthony's life, he would have done so. He would have been there. But he's going to have a hard time, I think, finding people to back up that claim. Like my video, subscribe to my channel. And John Huber, you're a scumbag.